Thank you
I
so
really
much.
love your basement.
Thank you.
It's very cool.
Thank you so much.
Do you guys have cable? Are you
We just have
pirating
this
cable?
screen, honestly. It's
What do
all
we-
the entertainment we have. No. Do we have cable? Yeah.
Did you pirate cable? You're too young for that. It was when I was a kid, we all stole cable.
Oh, did you have to like go up and link the cables or?
You would go in the backyard and you'd take the wire and
Great.
you'd plug it in.
Sorry.
Cables are just for fun.
Yeah.
You tip the cable guy.
And now I work for all these companies, so I have to pay them back.
Thank you so much for being here. Huge summer for you, obviously. And I do want to start with, we'll touch on some of the projects that have come out before this, but I do want to start by asking a little bit about Dexter Resurrection, because you get to play a serial killer, which is very exciting. I read in one interview that you mentioned that this was something different for people, for what people can expect from you. So I guess I'd love to hear, one, what do you think people would expect from you in a serial killer role, and then how this will be a departure from that?
Fantastic. I've gotten the opportunity to portray a number of serial killers, including CSI Cyber going against Patricia Arquette, including 12 Monkeys, getting to be a time-traveling serial killer, and in a very serious, dramatic way, playing Albert DeSalvo in Boston Strangler. This is the most fun I've ever gotten to have portraying a serial killer, because the character that I'm playing on Dexter Resurrection, his name is Gareth. Gareth, his serial killer moniker is the Gemini Killer. And I don't know if you're a zodiac person or if you're into astrology, but like Gemini is all about duality. And I murder people in a very specific way, sometimes multiple people in a very specific way, and it's rather gruesome and it's rather horrific. And I'm very proud to say that Gareth is the #1 most wanted FBI murderer and is the first person that's going to have a power, I should say, I'll call it a secret power, that will make life very challenging for Dexter Morgan in a way that hasn't happened on the show before. And for me, it was this great acting challenge because it's a bit of a spoiler that I don't want to give away, but when you tune in and you get to the point where you realize what is actually going on with Gareth, I like to think that your mind might be blown.
I'm intrigued. I'm now imagining like a serial killer will like read you your horoscope before killing you. Did I call it?
The spoiler's out there. It's been called, and I need to give credit where credit is due. Gareth, the Gemini Killer, is going to say, you should really have not left the house today. Today was a bad day. You know, Mercury's in retrograde, and now I'm stabbing you in the throat.
I'm excited to check it out. I do want to touch on some of the projects that have already come out this summer. I want to start with Murderbot, where you play Dr. Gurathin, who is an augmented human. And you mentioned on a Playlist podcast that you said this was one of the juiciest roles you've ever played. And I already think that you've played a lot of juicy roles, so I guess I'd love to know why you connected with Gurathin in particular and what makes him so juicy.
Gurathin's an augmented human, so he doesn't feel like he's fully human. He also doesn't feel like he's fully construct, because he's not. He is both. He is his body and his brain and his spinal column have been meddled with, and yet he's still mostly just a person with human emotions and feelings and fears and insecurities. And Gurathin is similar to me, a person who has struggled and wrestled with both addiction as well as a compulsive disorder in which control is an addiction all in its own. And so Gurathin is a person who maintains his own security and safety by keeping the people he loves very close and kind of trying to control the things around him as much as he possibly can. And because he is enhanced as an augmented human, which means I can plug into any data port anywhere and be in access to the internet at any time, and all computers and all the technology around me, I know things. And so the people around me who I do love and care about very much in the Presox, my family on Murderbot, are under a threat that they are completely oblivious to, and I get frustrated because I feel like people aren't listening to me. And those are all feelings and an emotional gambit of things that I've experienced in real life as David, whether imagined or real. Oftentimes, with compulsivity, I have felt like I understand what is best for everything and everyone around me, and why this is an important thing, and this, doing it this way is what. It's crazy, but it makes sense. And so in approaching the character like that, I feel like I could do it in a way that hopefully created a layer of love and affection, even when it's misguided or expressed. Because he's kind of a pain in the ass.
A little bit.
People like really like, he gets on people's nerves.
Yeah.
Guess who else does?
Murderbot?
Me.
Oh.
No, not Murder. Everyone loves Murderbot. Everybody
Really?
loves that construct. That is, Murderbot's great. It's handsome. It can kill anything it wants. It's so smart. It's just, everyone's so worried about how Murderbot's feeling. How's Murderbot doing? How's Murderbot doing? And poor Gurathin.
No one's looking out for Goo. They call him Goo Goo at one point, like Gura, and I love those.
He didn't
little
approve that.
He didn't like. There was no team meeting.
There was no consensus on Gurathin. I think I would prefer to be called Dr. Gurathin. Dr. Gurathin's name, no one checked in with me, it's just Goo Goo. Goo Goo? Who's going to take me seriously when I'm trying to tell all of you that you're under immediate physical threat? Oh, but that's okay. I love these people. I love the show. Martha Wells, who wrote the books that the show is based upon, is brilliant. Chris and Paul Weitz, who then adapted the show, brilliant. Every episode, brilliant. I think the fact that they did such an exquisite job bringing to life the soap operas of the Murderbot world, of the things that Murderbot is so obsessed with watching, including obviously, the rise of Sanctuary Moon, Strife in the Galaxy, which many people say is maybe even better than. There's this really incredible episode of Strife in the Galaxy where there's these two constructs held in a void prison. One of them's been cut in half because maybe they were in love with one another. Makeup gets smeared, drama happens. I tell you what, I don't know why anyone's watching Murderbot. They should be watching Strife in the Galaxy.
I would love a spin-off. I would love full-on Strife in the Galaxy. I would love full-on Rise and Fall of Sanctuary Moon. I will always take more sci-fi shows in general, frankly.
It's cool, right? And
Yeah.
it feels like I'm a big sci-fi person.
Yeah.
I've been loving sci-fi since I was a little boy. Everything from Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica to Isaac Asimov and Frank Herbert, and reading in the pages of comic books and reading in the pages of novels, as well as films and television, V all the way to Firefly. I think that science fiction is such a special medium. And I think Murderbot genuinely feels fresh. It's hard to say that often with science fiction. And I feel like it's a really different approach, that even if you're watching this and you're like, I don't know if I'm the biggest sci-fi person, I hope you'll give it a shot, because I think it's very funny, very dramatic, very interesting, and very entertaining.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love that you had that whole rant about like Murderbot, obviously, because to me,
Rant? Oh, now you're judging me.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
I was
Dramatic
speaking the truth.
monologue.
Thank
Dramatic
you.
monologue. That is totally, correct. But I'm really fascinated by. To me, I saw Murderbot and Gurathin as kind of mirrors to each other.
Ah.
No.
Yeah,
And I love their. By the time this comes out, the finale will have dropped. So there's that lovely last moment where the two of them, Murderbot says goodbye, but it's goodbye. It knows it's goodbye, but you're talking in terms of commands, like I have to go and check the perimeter. So I'd love, to hear a little bit about filming that last scene and why it's so significant that Gurathin is the last one that Murderbot talks to.
Filming that show in general was an incredibly emotional experience. Personally, I was just going through a very challenging time in my life. I felt very isolated from the people that I loved and the people that I was closest to. Some were very far away from me. Some were very close to me. The family that I'd grown to love in making the show, including my castmates and the creators and all of the crew, we were very close. And it was odd in a way that makes you feel both that there is a beautiful golden thread that connects the universe, and also can make you feel a little crazy sometimes when you're like, wow, these words are more personally significant than I could have ever imagined. This scene feels so personally significant. And when we reach that moment where I'm saying, like, I just got to care about you, and now I have to say goodbye to you, or like I just broke through a level of understanding about my connection to you, and now I know I have to let you go. It's hard. It's a part of the human experience that many of us experience either through death or through the end of things. Relationships end sometimes. People have to go away sometimes for themselves. And that kind of acceptance hitting me in the moment while I'm performing as a fictional character in a TV series based on a book series that, is like, I was sitting there doing the scene with Alex, and he's such a phenomenal actor, and he's so present, even when portraying a construct. It was very emotional, and I think I'm excited to see it. I just started to get to catch back up with episodes, and I'm really proud of the show. I'm proud of it, and I hope people will watch it, even if, like I said, even if they're not into sci-fi.
Totally. And I'm wearing a Dune shirt, so I would be remiss not to ask about it, but Gurathin, an augmented human capable of, doing a lot of mental computing. Peter Vries from Dune, also able to do a lot of mental computing as a mentat. I'm just curious, did you see any resemblances between the roles, either in like the physicality of how you approach this kind of a character, or in terms of how they are viewed by the sci-fi societies they exist in?
There's a moment in episode 7 at the beginning of the episode when we're having a flashback to a moment that the Prezox family calls bitter and sweet, where they play a game where they talk about a sweet memory with another member of the family, and then a bitter memory with, or thought with someone to do with the family. And in it, I talk about a time in the past when Gurathin was intentionally strung out by the corporation to use his gifts for their agenda. Mm-hmm. So in a sense, he became a twisted, augmented human. Mentats are augmented by the spice. They're augmented by the way that they're raised. They are raised to be mentats. You're born and you are a very special kind of person, but you are a person. And through the Sappho and through the practice and the ritual that goes into becoming a mentat, you are able to, compute data and information and analytics in a way that no other human brain could. And so as Peter Vries, who was twisted by Baron Harkonnen, and who was twisted with his gifts and abilities to do something that we would look at as nefarious, Gurathin was a twisted, augmented human before our show began. Mm-hmm. Miraculously, thankfully, as happens if you're very, very, very lucky and you are an addict in your life, in your journey, somebody, whether a stranger or someone you love, can have an impact on you, and that can sometimes be a group of people, sometimes it's an individual, but a miraculous change, transformation can happen. It happened for me, and it happened for Gurathin because he met Mensa, Dr. Ida Mensa, the leader of Prezox, and she loved him in all his brokenness and forgave him in all of his twistedness and welcomed him into the Prezox family. And then he was able to, he's still a little twisted, as we see. He's still a little, he's still very Gurathin. But yeah, I think that when I got the role, I immediately went to, I thought about Peter. Mm-hmm. And you can't help but not think about all the stuff that you learn as an actor when you get to work with a filmmaker like Denis. I always think about him when I'm working on something, whether it's playing, Gurathin, whether it's doing, a movie like The Life of Chuck or Dust Bunny, or even doing a staged reading of my favorite movie. Something about the effect he's had on me as an actor, it always gets in there. And so, yeah, but the Piter one was pretty quick and easy.
Yeah. Are there any, I guess, lessons or things that he's said to you in particular that, you recall or?
There's no space, there's no room if you're going to achieve the type of authenticity that you're capable of as an actor for anything reflective of the artifice that's manifest through ego. So he's always asking me in a loving way to peel away what I will put up defensively as an actor in my attempt to try and make sure I can sign language to the audience, to the camera, what it is that I think I'm needing to be conveying emotionally and psychologically. And the truth of the matter is, if you can trust yourself, you can trust the people that you're around, you can let go of that, which is, for lack of a better term, a kind of lying. And it's just because you think you need to do it to make sure everybody gets what it is that you're trying to do. And he has this effect on me of like, it takes us a lot of takes. I feel bad sometimes when I'm working with him because I think some actors who are much better than I am can just get in there. But I will always trust him, and he'll come in and he'll say, that's great, let's take this thing away. You don't let go of that stuff. And so I try to have that voice to myself, and in a loving way, not in a judgmental way, because that doesn't work. I try to be in my head when I'm working and thinking in a nice, loving way, like, you know what you're doing, you've got this, you know what you need to convey. You don't need to blink real hard. You don't need to scrunch up your face. You don't need to really hit that vocal tone. Trust yourself. Trust the people watching. Trust the people around you. It's hard to do that.
I kind of want him to be like my therapist now, honestly, just like how I work in normal life.
I think he has a lot of free time.
I'll call him. But I guess, I think that's so fascinating talking about like the peeling away of things, because you've been in a lot of adaptations that I feel have a lot of people who expect things from them, like Dune, like Murderbot, upcoming things like One Piece. Dexter also has a lot of like fans and stuff. I'm curious, is pressure of expectations or of like an adaptation, does that ever come into your space when you're working on a project? Or
yeah, for sure. The pressure of expectation is, it's a territory that I haven't really figured out how to navigate very well yet, because I want to honor with a balance people's love of characters and stories that they've maybe grown up with. I want to really honor that, and I want to give all that I can to the experience of, may seem silly, but I take very seriously the reality of like, I want to become Mr. 3. Yeah. And everyone who grew up or loves reading the manga, everyone who's a big fan of the anime, everyone who knows this character and knows the world of One Piece would go, oh, they really care, as do I. Like, I want to get that right, while at the same time, I want to throw away all expectation. I want to go, I've got to be the most authentic actor I can be in performing and bringing to life this character and bring these words to life, so that I can deliver a performance that whether you know every book that Mr. 3 appeared in, if you've never heard of Mr. 3, you can be engaged, and I can connect with the other characters in the scenes and fulfill the director's vision. It's like this. And I hope people can go into these things. I try to do this in my life, and it's really hard, with a degree of hope for it, but no expectation. Expectation is just setting the table to be either disappointed or to have resentments about things. And I sometimes expect the worst from this world, or I expect the worst from any given day. Just the way I think I was cooked and how I came out and how my mornings often start. And I love the practice of trying to breathe that out and breathe in, like, oh, the hope for this thing. That sounds like a really grand statement to make about a beloved franchise of things, but it's all kind of the same thing.
Well, they mean a lot to people for a reason.
It does mean a lot to people, and things mean a lot to me that other people always giggle about, and that's okay. They'll say, people will ask me things, what is your favorite movie, or something. I'll give answers to things, and sometimes people might chuckle, but they're very important to me.
Yeah. I'm also curious, as a writer yourself, and you have a lot of comics, Creature Commandos, Count Crowley, all that things. I'm wondering, how has inhabiting that space as a writer of things that might get adapted in the future kind of taught you about what you want from adaptations of your work, or how other people approach other adaptations?
As a dreamer, as someone who's dreamt big my whole life, and I love dreaming, I love daydreaming, I love the incredible gift I've been given that I get to write and create characters that incredible artists bring to life and then get put out into comic book shops. It's crazy when you think about the years of getting to write, Count Crowley. And then I think about the experience that I had crafting Knights versus Samurai. I'm only going to talk now about the ones that are mine, because that's what we're talking about. Because the ones that I've written for others, like getting to write the Creature Commandos, is amazing, but those belong to DC and other people. Getting to play in the Venom space for Marvel, that's theirs. But even like the one-shots that I got to do for like the Headless Horseman with my longtime creative partner and writing partner, Leah Kilpatrick, we have not one, but 2 huge projects that are going to be announced very shortly that we're launching. I see those, I see Knights for Samurai, I see Count Crowley, and I go, I dream big. Like, I go, how cool would it be if a person who is adept and knows how to transform stories into TV series or movies or animated series or I don't know what, interactive experiences at Universal Studios, I don't know. What if they go, I want to make this into something, and I think about it and dream about it a lot, and I want to help. I have a company called Gurathin Films. We were able to help co-produce Late Night with the Devil. We've produced several things now with the Boulet brothers. We have a couple of other really cool projects coming in the publishing space. We do all of that stuff, and between myself and Jen Jacobino at Good Fiend and Leah Kilpatrick, who works with us, and our amazing person Natasha, who helps keep all the balls moving. We are making happen, and I'm excited to see what that will turn into.
I'm excited too. I'm excited for these announcements. I do.
Me too.
Yeah.
Sorry to tease y'all out there, but we're just not quite. It's very soon. We're going to be very close.
Very close. I do want to touch on Life of Chuck a bit in the last bit of time that we have, because, you get to do a Mike Flanagan monologue. Not a lot of people get to say that. When he approaches you and gives you this gorgeous scene, and you get to do a monologue that he's written, and he's written so many good ones, I guess, what's your first reaction to that?
So Mike called me, and he said, I would be really grateful if you would come down to do a day on Life of Chuck. I said, awesome. He told me a little bit about what the character was and what he was going to be doing, and then he sent me the script. And I read those words, and I laughed, and then I got sad, all within a very short amount of page space. And I go, God damn, Mike, you are just so talented. He's so gifted. And obviously we know Mike is adept at scaring us, at crafting these big ensemble stories with all these different moving pieces and all these characters whose lives affect one another the way that ours do in real life. It's all these like marbles all flying around this Mike Flanagan masterwork of a maze where all the things are bumping into each other and shooting them this way and that and that. And then in the midst of these explosions, there are these phenomenal, reminding me of my days on the stage were the monologues. It's the signature Mike Flanagan moment where a character, without any kind of like, there's no sense of awareness to it, and it never feels in any way other than like it belongs in that moment. He's able to, like, these characters can express, and he gives me this great opportunity in many ways to kind of set the table for the movie that we're about to watch, because Life of Chuck is funny, it's weird, it's haunting, it's very sad. And in my little short speech about online pornography, we get to check all those boxes. And I love that guy. I love Mike. I love Kate. We're all part of a very close circle of witchy friends who like to game and nerd together.
And that monologue is incredible. I think, like you said, sets the stage. It's the first time I've had like an existential crisis when someone mentioned Pornhub. I was just like, oh, yeah, this all, I don't know, it checks all the boxes like you said. But it also, that whole sequence, I saw the movie on June 12th, which was the day that there was a massive internet outage. So that whole sequence felt extremely real, and as did much of that whole third act that comes first. I'm curious, when it comes to the sense of like crisis and things ending, has anything, I guess, sorry, this might feel a little dark, but has any part of that movie changed in terms of resonance for you since like first filming it?
Yes. We are raised with the concept of apocalypse, like utter annihilation, destruction, end of things, being moments of true, like, earth-shattering, birth pangs of the world quaking, serpents rising from the sea kind of horror, and like we're watching, like for lack of a better term, like an apocalypse movie. But that's not what it always is. The end of things is hard. Like people dying is really sad. It's really hard. It's beautiful. We don't have a choice. We don't have really a say in most of it. Things that we think we're going to have forever just end. And sometimes when we least expect them. And that's happened to me a lot in ways that I never saw really coming. And I used to, and I still feel tempted sometimes to want to have control over how things end. And maybe even, I don't know, how this all ends. And I don't think that the beauty of Mike's message in that film could be lost on anyone if you're just sitting there with your ears and eyes open and hopefully your heart open when you watch it. Because to me, it was a really beautiful message about acceptance. And I'll tell you, I saw it with with a bunch of people I love very much. Most of us sat very still at the end of it and were like just very kind of rocked. One person who I love very much just sobbing. I mean, it's a beautiful piece of cinema, and I'm so lucky I get to be part of it.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, the ending definitely floored me. I sat there for a while. I think that the idea of confronting an end, that kind of reminds me of your show Grave Conversations, where you talk to people very frankly about death, and you have the questions you need to answer before you die. And hopefully to end the interview on a lighter note, we've got some questions that are hopefully a little lighter, and we'll start with the one.
This thing has been a cakewalk. This is as light as it comes. This is one yuck after the next. I think anyone watching this has peed themselves at this point. They're laughing. Sorry, that Dave Dastmalchian, he's a barrel of laughs.
Sorry. Yes, I mean, I'll start with a question that was promised, which has to do with our friend over there, Kermit the Frog. He's a yes, he's been there the whole time. But I guess I'd love to know, what's a Muppet that you identify with the most? And keep in mind, Kermit is watching.
So this is a very important image to me. Kermit in the swamp. This is not technically a still from the Muppet movie. I mean, it may be a still photography moment, but it's not from a scene from the movie. This is enhanced to make a lunchbox with, and it's beautiful and it's gorgeous and I love it. When I was in kindergarten, having already become transported by the magic of the Muppet movie and addicted to the Muppet movie and so moved by all the themes and everything that matters about the Muppet movie, which I still am, and I probably think about that film every day, if not multiple times a day. I memorized the lyrics to The Rainbow Connection. I wanted to be Kermit the Frog. I did feel a little bit of an outcast and a loner and a little bit left behind because I was the baby of the family, and I had a difficult time at first, like just getting over the sads on a daily basis, and that song really lifted me up, and I would sing it for my mom, and I wanted to like get a group of friends and end up on a colorful bus traveling across country to go to Hollywood, and I got up and I sang it in front of my whole elementary school, Oak Park Elementary, for the school talent show for those who did and didn't have talent alike. And as I sat on a little stool in my overalls, because I couldn't go naked, with a fake toy banjo and a little straw hat, I all of a sudden came up on the lyrics and looked to Miss Hayden, Carol Hayden, an incredible music teacher, and I lost the words. And I looked out in the audience. I saw my mom and my sister crying. And I thought they were crying because I had forgotten the words. And then I completely fled the stage in abject terror, and I yelling out, "I forgot." I was so ashamed and I was so embarrassed, and I felt like I'd let everybody down. And I went many years without ever wanting to get back in front of an audience, for sure. And I was, as I grew up, especially getting into elementary, junior high, into high school, I was like, I was always scared. But I learned how to present and create something that wasn't. And I definitely just felt like I needed to be a part of everything because I didn't fit in completely anywhere. I also felt like I was, fun, interesting, weird enough person to get to go spend a weekend with, but you're not going to want to move in there. And I very, 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 very early on, right around the time that kindergarten happened, realized it's not Kermit who I was. It was his good friend, Gonzo. And Gonzo, having come from another planet, another galaxy, feeling like, and I'm very, 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 very strongly connected to anything that's blue. I have a deep affinity for the color blue. I'll eat anything that's blue. I don't even care what it is. It could be rotten milk. I'll drink it if it's blue. I felt a certain connection to Gonzo, so that's who I would say.
Incredible, awesome. Thank you so much. That's, all the time we have as
that was
as
our
the
alarm.
as the alarm told us. But yeah,
Bonus feature
Bonus
for all of
feature.
our Patreon followers at David Dastmalchian for Gonzo campaign.com/augmented humans for humanity.
that's the next big project. I feel.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.